Welcome to Cornell University Division of Nutritional Sciences Food and Nutrition Education and Communities Welcome webinar. This is the first unit of Navigating for Success that you'll be completing over the next few months. My name is Joan Paddock. I will be narrating the webinar today. We're very happy that you're on board. With this webinar, you begin your Navigating for Success training journey. This includes 18 units designed to orient you to the FNEP program and provide experience with the tools you'll use in your new position. By participating in this webinar, you'll gain an understanding of your role as an educator, develop a better understanding of working in your community, become oriented to our educational philosophy, and come to appreciate our commitment to lifelong learning. I'd like to introduce you to the FNEC campus leadership team. We are housed at Cornell University and work collaboratively with Extension Administration, your county executive directors, regional coordinators, and the rest of the program staff across the state to deliver nutrition programs. Jamie Delahite is our unit leader and is responsible for overall leadership of programming, evaluation, and research that's conducted here. I'm Joan Paddock. I'm the FNEP coordinator responsible for the management of the program across the state. Michelle Scott-Pierce is responsible for the operations of our program, particularly the WebNear system, which is the way that we evaluate the work we do in the field. Wendy Wolf is responsible for for childhood obesity prevention programming, including 4-H. Tisa Hill has responsibility for policy systems and environmental change issues and also works with SNAP-Ed. Judy Briggs is our office manager. You'll probably be communicating with her during the year for a various number of things, including in-services and trainings that we held. Christina Stark has responsibility for Cornell Nutrition Works and online nutrition education. Alicia Gaines has responsibility for a variety of research projects ongoing here. And Lauren Baker works with us to provide program support for some of our data management issues. In addition to program staff here on campus, we have regional coordinators across the state that assist you in delivering quality nutrition education. We currently have 5 regions depicted by the various colors on the map. Regional coordinators assist us in providing trainings, in-services, site visits. They also work with you to do observations, record reviews, and help you with data management. Your regional coordinator is a key person in scheduling Navigating for Success. You should be in communication throughout your Navigating Success journey with your regional coordinator. Embedded in this webinar are pre-recorded interviews of past and current staff sharing insights about their experiences in FNEP. After each segment is a slide that asks you to jot down questions or thoughts about what you just heard. Feel free to pause the webinar and write your thoughts in the study guide. When you're ready, restart the webinar and listen to the next recording. In this first clip, you'll hear about the early days of FNEP. Let's take a listen.
FNEP is the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program, and it's a federally funded program that has been around since 1969 in many states, in Puerto Rico, Guam, the Virgin Islands, every state where you have cooperative extension, you have FNEP. And the goal of the FNEP program is to help program families and youth to develop good eating habits. Our program
initially in the design of the expanded food and nutrition education program was a capacity building program. It was targeted a lot to families who were on public assistance, women who were oftentimes home, raising families and needed support in terms of not just the knowledge that we were providing for them or the behaviors that we wanted them to work on, but also for themselves, self-esteem.
You know, we basically started off as a pilot program back 40 years ago. And when you look at where we've come, we had no real curriculums then. We were making it up as we went. We taught people the good things we knew about nutrition and helped them learn how to cook.
So in the early days when commodity foods were available, and that's one of the things that was taught was, what do you do with cornmeal and 5 pounds of cheese and flour and peanut butter? And we were able to give them recipes that were nutritious and able to be worked with easily in their home.
Most of our community educators had a high school diploma, but some did not. But I can tell you that as a result of the work that they did, they kept going. They realized that there was much more to learn.
They were someone who probably had a family, who knew how to run a family, run a home. They knew how to cook, and they knew their community well.
It's a very rewarding job. And over 20 years, I've seen a lot of success among the people I've worked with, myself included. I actually was a participant of this program myself when my son was small. And so it's, and I think that the beauty of that is that I was where some of these people are at, and I'm able to translate that into helping them be successful.
I was a client before I was an educator. I see so many families who they have so many needs and they're working on so many issues. And if you can help build them up, then they're a little bit stronger and they can take care of those issues on their own a little bit better.
I was originally an aide, that's what they called them when I first started 26 years ago or longer ago. It was 30 some now. They called them aides. And I started out part-time because I was a young homemaker. I had 4 children of my own. And my youngest son had just gone to school. We have hired some of our former families because they saw what was in the program, and when we had a job opening, they applied. And that's happened several times. And I think that's exciting because they bring the most to the program. They were part of it.
The first nutrition aides, and that's what they were called at that time, this probably was their first job. So not only were we teaching them how to teach these families that they're working with, but they had to learn the whole idea of what it is to be employed and what the work ethic is.
And we really found out by hiring from the target audience and sending and training that staff to go back and work with the client base they knew in their neighborhoods, they were accepted. They made a difference. People listened to them. I think it was a natural transition for me. It was just something that I felt there was a need there. I liked filling the need. So it was a really good fit for me.
The progression of, from a homemaker to a volunteer to a nutrition teaching assistant is exactly what you want. You want for there to be growth in a program, and if you know a program is valued, if the people that work with you realize the value of it at a different point in time.
Pause the webinar and jot your thoughts or questions in the study guide. Cooperative Extension programs work in concert with other agencies that provide services in communities. Listen as staff discuss the benefits of community collaboration.
when FNEP first started, it was focused primarily on working with individuals in the home.
We live in upstate New York in a rural county. What it means is that we reach out to people that are sort of isolated, not a lot of public transportation, much of the agricultural community, not a lot of jobs, that kind of thing. So we're reaching out to young families throughout the county. We do more home visits just because of the nature of where people are at and they don't have transportation. So by us going out to those homes, we can reach them where they're at. It's hard. We love to get groups and we want to work with more, but we find that the majority of our work is done on a one-on-one basis.
In New York City, which is where I had most of my experience, all of my experience, the FNEP program operates primarily in groups. And that was a change that occurred somewhere in the early mid-70s. Because extension was not recognized in New York City, it was a very small presence of both Cornell and Cooperative Extension. We had to reach out to other agencies. And I think that's the biggest change that we made in the 70s, is to collaborate with other agencies. And as a result of that collaboration, it enabled us to do more group work. So we collaborated with daycare centers, with Head Start, with clinics. We would go to clinics, and we would do workshops in clinics. We would work anywhere there was a group, we would go.
I think one of the benefits that I've noticed over the years is we do seem to have more local community collaborations with other agencies, which is better than when we started, when we were just knocking on doors and really beating the pavement. I mean, that piece of it is, there's a lot of beauty to that.
Well, everything we do in Cooperative Extension is through partnerships. There's almost very little that we can do by ourselves, because our work is so much associated with delivering education to communities. And to reach the community, we have to partner with many of the agencies, organizations, or systems that are already in the community. So we do that by connecting with them through schools, Head Start programs, daycare centers, after-school programs, senior centers. We connect directly with them, and we offer our services to them for the people who they serve. And then also we do it on a statewide level. And also we are partners on a national level with a number of different kinds of organized, formal partnership groups. And that is the primary way that we work, through partners.
The collaborations with agencies are critical. Working with our community partners, resources are limited. We all have to extend what each other has. And so when we can help another agency with referrals or whatever, and vice versa, we can help train their staff, they help train ours.
This is what collaborative efforts do. When 2 or 3 people put their heads together, something great can happen. And I really think that that's why this is important for us to continue to work together, for us to continue to collaborate and partner in programs and services that are going to be, in the long run, benefiting our communities.
Pause the webinar now and write down any questions or observations you might want to discuss further. You as an educator are critical to the program's success. Let's listen as experienced educators describe their approach to the challenging work of being a nutrition educator.
The advice I have to new staff is always to just keep your eyes and ears open and bring your mouth in last. People usually, once they vent what they need to say, then it's like, okay, what did you bring for me now today? And so you do have to listen to people and meet them where they're at. And I think that's the #1 thing, and just, trying to put yourself in their shoes.
I think a very big quality is being able to have empathy for the people that you're working with. A lot of the families that I work for are not just looking to have a healthier nutrition, they're looking for all kinds of things. They need help with budgeting. They might need help with their kids who are having problems in school. They might be having insurance problems or having a hard time finding a job. And so they're looking for a lot of support, and sometimes you just need to give them a bit of encouragement and to teach them that they are doing a good job.
We build on the successes that are present with the homemaker. And so they really are encouraged to look at whatever that might be.
You have to be able to relate to the person where they are.
In FNEP, you just don't go out and force information on people. You figure out what people need.
It's more than just changing behavior in terms of nutrition. It's giving people something to feel good about.
Be able to take care of yourself too. I think part of being an educator is living what you're teaching, and that's not easy. I probably weighed 80 pounds more than I do now when I started this job, and it's not easy.
You have to be real 24 hours a day.
A positive approach to life and to thinking that almost anything is possible.
I guess the ability to be flexible and be able to adapt to change. The one thing that's always guaranteed is change.
It is important for the staff to come together to talk about their experiences and to really share successes, because so often the success is very small, and we have to support them and let them know that, if they've gone to a homemaker and today the table is cleared off and they're ready for you and for the lesson, that's a big success.
You don't get a lot of pats on the back, but you see a lot of progress in the years as we go through. For 26 years, I saw a lot of progress.
In your study guide, record questions and reflections on this last video. We believe in providing nutrition educators with the training necessary to help them be successful. Much time and energy is devoted to ensuring that all staff are prepared to undertake this challenging role.
Staff training is very, very important. Getting our staff to the point where we would like them to be, so that they understand that their facilitation of our subject matter and their education of families is so vital as it relates to impacting on families' life, was something that we struggled with for years. We were very content-based when we first started training staff. And we realized that knowledge doesn't always change behavior, but really impacting on people's behavior has so much to do with what they feel when you have contact with them. So we realized that our content, our training series that we had for new staff needed some redevelopment.
When I started in 1999, we did a lot of cooking with people to the point where it felt like I was really teaching people how to cook, where now I really feel like I'm teaching people the advantages of eating healthy. And I always have in the back of my head, the goal is healthy lifestyles.
So that's what happened. We became facilitators of knowledge by not focusing on content so much, but by focusing on behavior.
I think a lot of the improvements have been around the area of professional development as far as like new staff. There's Navigating for Success is a new training program for new nutrition program educators.
We transformed our education style from a teacher-centered to a more dialogue approach, learner-centered approach. So what that does is have the educator see themselves as a facilitator of learning, recognizing that people already have knowledge. So facilitating learning means that you're drawing from their experiences, you're adding to it, and you're giving them an opportunity in the learning setting to apply what they already know with the new information, and so that they can demonstrate that they have learned it.
That is really the basis of our initial training now, and it's statewide. And so every nutrition program educator that comes into FNEP or the Eat Smart program is trained in this.
And everything is really individualized, because you take a lesson plan, but you individualize it to the person you're working with. So the program becomes theirs.
Cornell has supported us greatly with faculty that have worked with us on in training our staff, but also in helping us to learn not just about what we should teaching, but also learn about our community.
We're able to be very sensitive about our community's issues, our community's needs. Cornell offers a vast, information. They have so much research done, and they know how these things work, and they know how to get to the communities with their information. So having, this sensitivity, to their needs is beautiful. So I think that is a great part of the work that we do with Cornell.
Our tools that we're using are much better. Our evaluation tools, the reporting and records that we keep, the curriculums that we use.
The curriculums, I've been doing this for 10 years. The curriculums have absolutely come a long way. The teaching materials we have now make a huge difference.
We have a curriculum, but the curriculum is flexible. It's based on the need that people have. It's also based on research. When we don't know something, we seek to find out what we need to know.
FNEP has always tried to bring the latest research-based information to families, and that hasn't changed. I think we're always on the cutting edge, and our wonderful connection to the Division of Nutritional Sciences at Cornell, as well as USDA, makes that possible.
Cornell is very big on keeping up with training, making sure you know the newest of the new things, and I love it. It's nice to be able to be right there and be able to get the newest information and be able to put it to work immediately.
In your study guide, record any questions you might have about this video, providing a strong foundation.
I see the need for our program more than ever. You'd think we'd work ourselves out of business, but we're not.
The need for this program is constant, definitely.
So many individuals with such great need, communities that have been identified as being on a national level at highest risk for so many nutrition-related chronic diseases, at highest risk for so many issues around, infant mortality, crime, education. I mean, just so many things. And also because of the diversity of cultures that exist in New York City. So the need is there. And the beauty about it is those are the communities that we work in. And we've been working in for the last over 30 years and feeling so fulfilled in being able to do that. Because without a doubt, New York City needs us.
And now with this recession, our middle income people are poor. So something has to give. The light bill still has to be paid, and the mortgage has to be paid, and the telephone bill or whatever, they have to be paid. What is cut back? Food.
I cringe sometimes when I think about where it might be if I had ever connected with this silent program almost. It's really not very highly advertised.
My hope is that this program will be there for the people who do need it. Because I think the people who do need it desperately.
I certainly hope that the extension is able to continue to receive the support, to continue to receive the funds that they need, and to continue to offer, the services that they are offering, and hopefully, again, continue to share that with other agencies.
It's a changing field. It's evolving. We don't know everything there is about nutrition. But what we do know right now is that what we eat is who we are, and the activity that we have or don't have is who we are as well.
For many of our chronic diseases, and by that I mean those diseases that kill us as Americans. We know that many of them, heart disease and diabetes, stroke, some types of cancer, very much have a connection to the lifestyle and particularly the diet that we have. If we were to eat better and to move more, much of our risk for these diseases would go down.
We really need to look at prevention in this country, and we're beginning to, but we want to prevent poor health through healthy eating and activities. So that's, I think, what keeps me motivated.
Prevention of risk for chronic diseases. If we could do that and use the spotlight right now, I think it will create a future for us that we would really be very proud of.
FNEP doesn't disappear, will never disappear. It may change, the name may be changed a little bit, but the model is always there.
We are sustainable. We're there. In my 20 some odd years of working in community nutrition, one of the organizations that have been around has been us. We've stayed. We're accessible. Our programming, the quality of our programming is still great. So we are rooted, I would say, firmly rooted in communities.
The fact that these communities come to these classes and they receive the message, nice and clear, again, without judgment, without any type of biases, without any type of prejudice involved. And the fact that it's being delivered in their own language, obviously, I believe those are very key components and very key factors in all this great work that is being done in their communities.
So there are different ways that FNEP has been successful. Our focus has always been the program family. And our focus is behavior change related to nutrition and health. But you can't have that if the other things aren't in place. And so you have to, so over time, I think that's one of the rewarding things that we have seen happen, that we have been able to make change, not just at the individual level, but at the community level.
I see progress, and I see our joint effort having an impact on these communities, finally.
In your study guide, record any questions you have about this video looking forward. This slide represents the unique and interrelated subjects that will be covered in navigating. Some of them were touched upon in the previous recordings. Hopefully, over the course of your Navigating for Success journey, we'll have covered many of these. Thank you for participating in this welcome webinar. We're pretty excited that you're going to be part of FNEP. You've become part of an historic program. You bring new energy and perspectives to the work we share. We have confidence that you will make a difference and touch hundreds of lives. We look forward to meeting with you. Welcome aboard.